Welcome to the Real Estate 401k Show. Here are your hosts, Ryan Gertis, Mike Weinstein, and Justin Frederick, helping you build a legacy of wealth through real estate. Powered by the Recon Group at West USA and the Frederick team with Fairway Mortgage. NMLS number 625918.
Well, one thing we know about life is shit happens.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't, bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people. I always hated, though, the saying that everything happens for a reason. People, something bad happens. Oh, everything happens for a reason. Well, sometimes that reason is you're a lazy and you're a dumbass. Okay? So it's not the cosmic universe, creating something. But that's neither.
Oh, and I love the victims. The victims are the best. Only bad things happen to me. And it's like, well, it's because no one wants to do anything good with you because all you're doing is inviting negative energy, negative everything. And no one feels bad for you.
I will say this about myself. The older you get, the more you kind of self-realize it. I'm not afraid to look in the mirror and go, okay, is it me, right? But man, always constantly going, am I the common denominator here? Because when I'm the common denominator, it's quite possible I'm the problem. It has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about right now.
I know. You're like, hey, Ryan, you're overweight. Well, it must be bad genetics. Nope, it's not.
You got good genetics. I've seen you drink beer, pal.
That was perfect.
I wish that was the reason I love whiskey so much.
Well, back to shit happens in life. Part of real estate for all of us, and I'm not saying on our end being in the real estate business as real estate wealth managers and being a loan officer, is every single person in life, once you move out of mom and dad's house, you're in real estate because you have to have a place you got to have a roof over your head. Mm-hmm. You always have got to have a place to stay. And sometimes we get very, very short-sighted in our decision-making process. But as time goes on, we like to call them life changes, life events. There are things that happen for people, whether it's getting married, whether it's having children, whether it's a divorce, whether there's a death in the family, whether mom and dad are now at the point that they got to come live with you. And that's not a life change, that's a life nightmare. Okay, but I'm just gonna go. I know my mom's not gonna ever listen to this.
Nightmares are dreams too, buddy.
And what happens is sometimes when these life changes happen, we make rash decisions. There's generally an opportunity to do something in real estate, but we're so short-sighted. And for an example, one of the things my wife and I did, and I would say it was just great advice that we gave ourselves and we followed. When we first got married, we had a very small home. It didn't matter. It was just her, me, and Ramses, our beagle. And that was it. And there was always plenty of space, right? Now, I learned early on that I have no right to the closet, but when nobody else is living in the house, my stuff can go in the other closet. Yeah. And so then when she became pregnant with our first Quentin, we knew that we needed a bigger house. We needed more bedrooms. But what we could have done is said, okay, we got to now plan for having a third human being in this house. But then we sat down and talked about, okay, this is a life change. How many kids do we want? Okay, it's gonna hurt a little bit, but let's not have to move again when baby 2 comes, because as you said earlier,
nobody likes to move.
Nobody likes to
move.
And so when we
and if you do, I need your number.
If you love moving,
and you're
my favorite.
You're kind of a psychopath, but good on you.
But we just made that conscious decision to say, hey, we know that we're going to have a second. We knew that we were going to tap out at 2, and so instead of going for a house with another bedroom, we planned bigger, and even knew that we were eventually going to probably work from home. Wanted that option. But it was just part of a life change for us, but planning ahead, Ryan.
Well, so it makes me think of a number of different things, because right now, I obviously I remember very vividly when we had our first 2 kids, but now I'm thinking more about the fact that our kids are going to be moving out soon, and it scares me to death. And so I know a lot of people that when the empty nest syndrome, not only is it really taxing on just the mental side of things, but they say, okay, well, what I want to do is now I want to downsize. Well, you just spend a lot of time creating this, this money vehicle, and I just see so many people just liquidating and downsizing, and I'm like, well, walk me through that, right? You've spent so much time, money, and effort and years, of creating those, not just memories, but just everything. Why the heck would you just liquidate? There's I don't remember who said it, but I heard it on what's that movie with Matt Damon, the poker movie, Rounders. You can shear a sheep many times, skin him only once. You're never going to be able to make another dime off of that home the moment that you sell it. Yeah. So I think about myself, and I also think about a handful of our clients that are going through that. Most recently, we had a good friend of mine. His name is Rod. He lives in California, and his son goes to ASU, local university here. And instead of bitching and moaning about the fact that they're going to miss the hell out of their son, what did they do? They bought a house here.
Love it.
And now their son is not only learning what he wants to learn. I don't know, maybe he's a psych major or something like that, I think is what he said. He's also learning how to manage his wealth because he is renting that property out to a couple of other college students, a 3-bedroom. So he gets to have a couple of roommates, and that subsidizes what they're doing over there for their monthly debt and their monthly income off of it. And he's allowing him to keep the income that he makes off of that in order to pay bills.
And it was a great place we helped him buy. Love that place.
Yeah, that place is awesome. So I look at that and I'm like, man, there's just another really big opportunity to teach our kids not only how to live on their own, but how to learn the business of real estate, managing their money. And I don't know, he might get a better education from that than he is his degree from ASU. And I'm not knocking the education that you get from ASU. So
but you did go to NAU. Let's just be fair.
I went to NAU.
Okay, yeah. So you're a little biased.
See, but the thing is, between NAU and ASU is there's no real quarrel. It's not like a rivalry between ASU and U of A. Those, NAU is kind of Switzerland in the state.
Well, what Ryan failed to disclose and say, Justin, Ryan's already prepared to be becoming an empty nester. And you know what he did? He went out and bought a still.
I did.
Yes.
I'm scared shitless of not having something to do. So
this is a win-win for us.
I know.
I know people that brew their own beer. I know guys that they're making beef jerky and all this fun stuff. And I'm like, well, nobody else is making whiskey, and that seems logical to me. So I'm in the middle of learning how to make whiskey.
Sometimes, Justin, though, life changes leave a lot of confusion. Sometimes, like when my dad passed, my dad paid for everything, paid all the bills. My mom was just a mess. And then she would look to me, and I'm like, I don't pay the bills.
What am I going to do?
What are we going to do here? Mindy? But, at least sometimes people confuse I don't, a spouse, husband dies. And I know you worked with someone recently in this situation where the poor woman didn't know what to do, already going through grieving, and now having to make decisions and left with these assumptions of, and where did she get the information from,
Yeah, so recently had a woman that called. Actually, she was referred over by one of you guys, and she had lost her husband. They had bought a home in the early 2000s when interest rates were higher, and she's like, I can't afford this house. What do I do? And I'm like, well, let's look through this. So you got a VA loan. He ended up dying from a service-related injury. They were older couple, but was able to do a VA interest rate reduction loan. So no income was required on it for her to qualify. And we were able to drop the rate. Not only were we able to drop the rate, we were able to extend the term of the loan out 30 years. I know a lot of people are like, well, why would you do that? Well, it saved her about $900 per month on her monthly payment. And she was able to keep that home. Her family was super happy because she was able to keep that home. That's where she wanted to be. They had already made a bunch of changes for her disabilities so she could get in and out of the door and get in the shower and all that good stuff. So it was just a perfect scenario to where we were able to help her for a very low cost. And in other situations, though, too, on our side of things, Did you know when somebody gets a divorce and the judge orders for somebody to pay somebody out, that we can use it as a non-cash out loan so the interest rate's much lower? So it doesn't go in as a cash out loan. It's actually a rate and term. So it's a much lower interest rate and cost for us to refi that house, pay them out the equity, and so the person can keep the home.
So it's that's it.
I didn't. I had no idea.
You just need a court order.
Yeah, just need a court order showing that they're keeping the home and they're required to pay out a certain amount of equity.
You know, I mean, there's always silver linings to any type of negative life change, and I think the moral of the story is there's always opportunity there. We really we had a great opportunity thrown at us because we do have that reputation of seeing opportunity whenever, you know, something bad goes down. It was just about a year and a half ago. We got a phone call. We had, unfortunately, her father died. Sorry, her mother died, and she was out in Florida. Her parents were out in California, and so we got the phone call, and it was just one of those things that ended up turning into numbers, and we ended up buying the home, closing really fast, and it helped her get her surviving father into assisted living, and really helped them get their feet under them fast, because those things happen so quick, and if they're not taken care of quick, then it can
be a burden on the family.
It can snowball so fast, especially when they're thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
So we were able to close on that, and we did great on it. I mean,
we're still doing good on it.
Yeah, we did great on it. But moral of the story is that people know that we're always seeing opportunity, no matter what's a good life change, bad life change. And it's not that we took advantage of anything.
No,
we were just following the numbers, and they were extremely happy, and of course we were happy too, because we were able to help them out on that, and also get a financial gain.
Well, and that's the thing, and it's I mean, it's a brilliant point. I mean, there's life change that happens that impact us, and we have to navigate those muddy waters at times, especially when it comes to divorce. But I hadn't really thought about it in those terms, that when life change happens, and maybe life change happens for somebody else close to you, there is opportunity there. And I don't, there's at any given time 80,000 licensed real estate agents here in the state of Arizona, and we are not all created equally. And I say this all the time. It blows my mind that nobody ever asks how long I've had my license, how many homes do I own, how many homes have I sold. They take us at face value. And when life change happens, Ryan, it is imperative that who you align yourself with to navigate the real estate situation, that they have experience, knowledge, and creativity.
And if they don't, they better have somebody there supporting them.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine entering the industry and not being on a team or having a coach or having somebody there to back me up, because things are changing so fast. It's impossible, even for me, to keep my eye on everything and know what's going on over in the lending world, what's going on in the insurance world, what's going on in the inspection world, what's going on all these facets that impact the industry. We need that network, and I've been in it 20 years now, over 20 years now, and I still need that support system.
That's why I stick to my lane. You know, I'm not advising anybody on what you guys do, and you guys do the same. You know, it's like I was telling you guys earlier today. I had some woman call up. We have her in process. We've had her in process for about 5 months now, and she's closing in July. And her realtor, her sister is a realtor, just got her license in Ohio.
So she's an expert.
Right. Said she should lock her rate today. And, I had to explain. I've explained it to her many times what I would do. And she asked me, what would you do? And this is what I would do. And this is why I would do it. And this is what I follow, So you got to stick to your lane, right?
I think,
and know your lane.
I think there's two questions that everyone should ask their real estate professional before they start working with them. One, and this is not even meant to be a joke. Are you full-time or part-time? I don't know how many deals I've snagged over the years because I was full-time and people got frustrated working with a part-time person who couldn't show them homes when somebody popped on the market. Number two, how long have you been in real estate? What is your real estate pedigree? But anyways, we are at the Recon Group, I think, about as creative and opportunistic as it gets. The amount of knowledge that, and I'll talk great about us for a moment if I can.
Do it.
The amount of knowledge and creativity that we impart to not only our team of real estate wealth managers, but to our listeners and our followers and our clients will blow you out the door. I don't know how many times I have people go, I never thought about that. I didn't know that was an option. And we would love to have that conversation with you, especially if you're going through some sort of life change, maybe surrounding you that's presenting potential opportunities, or a life change that's personally happening to you, and you need experience behind you and creativity behind you. We want to help you. All you got to do is text the word LIFE to 623-AZ-RECON. Again, text the word LIFE to 623-AZ-RECON.
Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate 401k Show. If you want more information on how to build wealth, click on the link or text us at 623-297-3266. That's 623-AZ-RECON.